Low-quality fans of a high-quality Bruins team, welcome back. We are less than 5 hours from NHL regular season hockey. Oh, we're so close. We made it. We made it. And as Bruins fans, unless, you're just venturing into this channel for whatever reason, hello. As Bruins fans, you just weren't sure if you could like, comment, subscribe. I got you again with it. Unbelievable. No, seriously, you weren't sure you were going to survive this offseason. The ending of last season truly made many fans really question whether it was worth it or not. Do I want to keep watching this team? Is that an overreaction? Yes, to many of you, you're like, what are you talking about? You got to remember, I get a lot of messages from people about how they feel about the team. It really shook the faith of the faithful. It really did. But we made it through. Everyone is just as excited as they always are. In fact, maybe more so. Because for the first time in 6 years, we have a prospect that is, going to start for us in Game 1 and is truly exciting. Now, he's going to be a third-line center. Many of you want to see him in the top 6. We'll see if we even get there. We'll see how long he sticks. But the first thing we should talk about is Patra, who has made the team. Which feels disingenuous because he's 19 years old. Making the team? No. He forced his way onto the team. You don't make the team at 19 years old because the entire front office is going, absolutely not. You're not big enough. You're not ready enough. You're not coming onto NHL ice this season. You have to force your way onto the team, which he did. He is under 180 pounds. He is 19 years old. He's making the leap from the OHL to the NHL, which maybe not everyone knows is fucking massive. That's like Mount Wachusett, if you know, you know, compared to Mount Everest. You are taking a massive leap. A massive leap. I'm so impressed. It was a pick. I need to keep bringing this up because I feel like it's good for me and good for you to know that I'm honest about as much as I can be honest about. I didn't like the Patra pick. I didn't think his game was going to translate to higher levels. I look like an idiot. Here's how it works for him. He gets 9 games this year. NHL games, I should say, without burning one of his entry-level contract years. If it's 9 or less games, that year will slide. He'll still have, I believe, 3 years on his ELC for when he gets brought up next year. If he plays a 10th game, it burns the year. He's still able to get sent to the OHL at that point, but you've just burned one of his cheap contract years, basically. Unless you know he's going to stick, you don't do that. You don't do that. But when's the last time we had a prospect to get this excited about? Seriously. The fact that we're even talking about a potential 2C of the future for the Boston Bruins in this offseason, and it's not desperation, oh, we need this role so badly, so we're just going to assume this guy can do it. No. 5 points in 5 preseason games. He was one of our best players in almost every game he played. And every time he looked like he was starting to hit a wall, he was running out of gas, he would come out the next period and score a game-winning goal or a game-tying goal or just have a phenomenal period defensively. He would have creativity in the offensive zone through transition. He was brilliant. Brilliant. Those of you saying Patra for the Calder, nope. But he is going to be put in a position to succeed. These are the lines that we have more or less confirmed for tomorrow night. JVR, Zacha, Pastrnak is your top line. If you want to argue that's your second line, okay. That's fine. I don't want to have the argument again. People keep yelling at me for swapping them. I don't know why. Marchand, Coyle, DeBrusk is your other top 6 line. And then Frederick, Patra, Geeky. For those of you who still believe, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just not big on this belief. For those of you who still believe that you need a physical fighter type to protect a young guy, there you have it with Freddie. He will throw down, and he will, now this I do believe, create room for Patra, which is going to be helpful. The reason Patra will succeed at the NHL level won't be because Frederick's keeping people off of his back. It will be because Patra will avoid getting hit. Will he? I don't know. But that's the only way he's going to actually survive. He's going to be in scrums. He's going to be in board battles. He has to be clever enough to avoid massive contact. Keep your head up, I guess is what I'm saying. That third line, though, was really, really effective in the preseason. We'll see how it goes against full NHL squads at full NHL speed. But man, are we excited. Oh man, 9 games. 9 games. And I think there's no reason not to burn the ELC if he looks ready. Why? It's a position we need. We've already talked about that. Why bother? Oh yeah, the 9 games was great, but we really don't want to, we want to save money for next year. No. The team wants to be competitive this year. You have enough pieces to be competitive. If he makes the team better, he stays. Lucic, Beecher, Lauko is your 4th. Lucic is the guy that obviously been locked in for a long time. I kept saying I didn't want to see it. His preseason was better than I expected, although I still am going to push back on him being great. But I hope he looks awesome. Beecher has looked awesome. He's the other part of this equation where the front office actually did what they said they were going to do. They are giving us a couple of young guys to root for. Those guys earned it, though. They were the 2 guys, the only 2 guys in my book, who truly earned a role out of camp. I mean, young guys, obviously. We're going to get to the 3rd that many of you are talking about in a minute. Heinen, hopefully, is your 13th forward come game time for game 1. And then he'll be integrated over the next couple of weeks. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Brown because they just recalled him from the AHL. Because I think they're struggling to get the Heinen deal done. I think it'd be a lot easier to get that done if Forbort had been sent down because that saves you about 1.15 in cap space or something like that. But he's not, so whatever. Defensively, it's Grizz, Mac as your top pair. We know that's an effective pair. Lindholm, Carlo, your second pair. We know that's an effective pair. Forbort, Shattenkirk. We don't know jack shit about that other than the fact that probably not great. That's a bit of an oof of a third pair. Mitchell being your 7th defenseman because he really did improve as the camp went along. Am I concerned about the third pair? Not overly. I mean, it's a glaring weakness on our defensive end, honestly. But Shattenkirk was always going to get his chance on the right D. Third right D. Lohrei didn't quite earn it in camp. Do I think he looked better than Forbort? 100%. Would I be fine with him in a third pairing role getting 12 minutes a night? Yeah, it wouldn't really bother me. I don't think that would stunt his growth. Some people believe that. I don't think they're wrong with that belief. I think it's just 2 different ways to look at it. I don't think it would stunt him. He had enough issues defensively. He was flat-footed too many times and had people cruise right around him. We saw that kind of a plethora of times. Enough to really give you some pause. That being said, he's brilliant. The tools that he has, he's a real good puck mover. He's a better skater than people give him credit for. He gets burnt because he stops skating. It's a decision that he makes. His skating, although not fast, is Chara-esque. In the way, was Chara a bad skater? Fuck no. But he looked goofy as hell on skates. But he was effective. And that's exactly what Lohrei needs to be. Obviously, I'm not comparing the two beyond skating. But Lohrei is a goofy skater. But it's an effective skater when he's moving his feet. He needs a little more time. He's going to get over 20 minutes a night in Providence. He'll be called up really quickly as soon as there's a reason to do so. There is no reason to get upset about him getting sent down because at least the first month, it benefits him. We'll leave it alone. Olmark's going to get your first start. Swayman will follow. Very likely we do the tandem thing once again. A lot of confidence in our goaltending, obviously. Before we go much farther, there are a lot of predictions that were done on the Short Shift podcast. So if you enjoy this channel and you enjoy this kind of conversation, the Short Shift podcast can be found on any service, Spotify and Apple and all that kind of stuff. We have a 2-hour podcast with going over what the season preview should be, having predictions, hot takes. It's a long one, and it's a good one. So if you want more of this with real conversation back and forth, check out the Short Shift pod. But there's one other thing I wanted to talk about in this video. What are your actual concerns? What are the real concerns right now? Because mine are, obviously, top 6 center play. That's on the top of everyone's list. My other concern is we are one top 6 winger short. Like, really short. JVR, to me, is not a top 6 winger. Although he did look good in the preseason, I thought. I do really hope we have someone else step up. Or he steps up. Because I think that's gonna drag down a line a little bit. I think Pasta's going to have to do a little more than he's used to doing. Which, obviously, because he had Bergeron and Krejci to rely on in the past. Not to say Pasta isn't great, but you're going to see him control the puck even more, so enjoy those turnovers and those goals. But you know what my biggest concern is? And someone pointed this out to me not too long ago when I was talking about all the penalties. And they mentioned, and I'm sorry because I can't find the comment down, and I don't remember the name, but he mentioned, hey man, hate to remind you this, but we're always a really heavy penalty-taking team. And in my head, I was like, we're not that bad. Like, yeah, we're middle of the pack, we're not that bad. No. Past few years, we've been top 5 in penalty minutes every year. Every year. Most years, top 3. Our penalty kill's been awesome every year. I am genuinely concerned for our penalty kill without Bergeron. I'm worried without one of the best penalty killing centers of all time, and with Forbort taking a step back, the penalty kill just won't be consistent. Our second unit's going to be weak. It just is. I have a real concern that if we're going to take a lot of penalties like we're used to, that's going to really bite us in the ass this year. If we can't maintain a top 10 penalty kill, we need to figure something out, because that's going to sink a lot of points. With that being said, outside of the third pair as well, if those are your only concerns, if it's really like, hey, we could use one more top 6 winger, what team really couldn't outside of a handful? Hey, I'm a little worried about our penalty kill. Okay, special teams sometimes are a little voodoo. And then your top 6 centers. Like, there's the big concern. I'm a little worried about our goal scoring, just how much we're actually going to be able to put in the net, right? But defensively, we should still be rock solid. Goaltending should be really good. We have a ton of talent all through the ice. And then you look at the division, and you go, Toronto's still really good. I have them running away with the division. And then who's your second best team? Some of you will say Florida. You'll jump at that. They've got a lot of questions in net and defensively. Montour being injured for a while. There's some real concerns there. Some of you might say Tampa. Vasilevsky out for 2 months. Vasilevsky. They're getting more and more shallow as far as their forward lines go. Hedman's another year older, although he's really good still. So maybe that's your second best team. Buffalo? One of the best offenses in the league. If Levi can hold water. I don't think anyone's going to say like Ottawa or Detroit or Montreal, but... And then there's the Bruins. It feels like second place in the division is wide open. It's there for the taking. I'm not saying it's going to be the Bruins. But even with the losses that we've taken this offseason, we should be right there. We have as good a chance as any of these other teams to grab that, right? Like, am I crazy for saying that? Maybe it's just the calm before the storm where I talk myself into this team being really good again. But there's flaws for these teams, for all of them, us included. All I'm trying to say is the Bruins are genuinely a team that should be taken seriously. It was really easy for me to look at this squad and go, yeah, that's not a playoff team after Taylor Hall and Bergeron and Krejci were gone. Looked a lot weaker. And right now, although it doesn't look like a juggernaut or a true contender, it does look like a playoff team. So This season's going to be very interesting for a lot of reasons, because it could go either way. But unrelenting optimism, right? That's what we do. 82-0? 82-0? Oh, I'm sorry. Math. 98-0? Go Bees! Go Bees!